CV carburetor tuning can be a very simple process, but it can also be very, very frustrating if you're not exactly sure what you need to be adjusting and what you're changing when you make these adjustments. Now, first and foremost common misconception that we do see with CV carburetors is what this little screw to the left of me is doing, because a lot of people refer to that as an air-fuel mixture screw, when in reality, if you read your factory service manual, it is very clear that that is an idle mixture screw, because it's responsible for the air-fuel mixture at idle. Now, it's commonly used to overcome an incorrect pilot jet size, where people will compensate for that. In this instance of a 2004 Sportster, where we have a much more free-flowing exhaust system that has created a lean condition, you have loosened that screw, which allows for a much more rich air-fuel mixture at idle to compensate for that initial lean condition that's created when you come off of idle. So basically, you've richened your idle up enough that it gets past that initial lean cough, using both that rich mixture and your accelerator pump. But at the end of the day, that jet, your pilot jet, is still the incorrect size. So, the best advice I can give you here to correctly tune this CV carburetor is going to be to address that pilot jet circuit. That low speed, just off idle until you get to the mid-range, address that circuit first. After you have that tuned correctly, go back and then adjust your air-fuel mixture screw for your idle to achieve the best idle. Now, the next step after that's tuned, because you have a poor performing setup throughout the range, is going to be to jump to your wide open throttle tuning. Now, it's again a very common misconception that the next step is to go from the low speed circuit to the mid-range. The mid-range is controlled by the jet needle, which we see here in the middle of the Venturi. Now, that jet needle is coming in a lot of different profile options, a lot of different shapes that controls how much fuel can be drawn through the main jet. But again, its position is drastically changing what that main jet is going to do until you get to wide open throttle. At wide open throttle, that main jet is functioning uninhibited by any other factor there. So you address the wide open throttle to get the correct size for that part. Then you go back to your mid-range and you address the jet needle size and profile. So oftentimes the correct main jet size does not require a change in the jet needle, but it is possible. Again, my best advice in this specific scenario where there's not a lot of complex changes made outside of an air cleaner and exhaust is going to be to address your pilot jet circuit, then address your air-fuel mixture at idle with that screw, then move to your wide open throttle position and address the main jet size, then make sure your mid-range is in the correct operating air-fuel ratio. Hope that answers that question. If you got anything else, ask them in the comments.